at least 1,000. That put them in a tough spot because that requires the involvement of Regal, which has many of these theaters, not all, and AMC has way more. But this time around, for the Fincher movie, there is no requirement. And they did that on purpose so that AMC could agree to this and Regal would have no leverage over it. If Regal doesn't want to show the movie, fine. They don't have to show the movie in their IMAX screens, but they can do the release without Regal. So it puts Regal in a really interesting spot. They can say, we believe in our windows, we're not playing this, and leave millions of dollars on the table. Or they can go along with this and potentially harm their windowing policy. That's going to hurt them in the future.
Yeah.
What would you do?
If I were Regal?
Yeah.
I guess I'd probably show it, but I don't think that we're not talking about a huge blockbuster here.
I don't know. The last one did 400 million, and the Fincher nerds are going to show up.
But see, that's the huge difference. Tarantino is one of the on that short list of filmmakers that people go to the theaters to see. David Fincher is not. Partly because David Fincher has spent the last decade mostly in business with Netflix. And so the idea of a spin-off to this movie,
written by Tarantino.
I'm excited to see it, and I hope it does well, but I don't think we're talking...
Starring Brad Pitt.
I don't think we're talking about a movie that, if it were given a proper theatrical release, would be a guaranteed hit.
I think you're wrong. I think it's going to be big. And I think the Super Bowl spot...
Best case.
And Regal gets a share of that. It's only a few million they're leaving on the table.
Yeah.
Is that worth blowing up your windows?
Or do you believe it's blowing up your windows?
Oh, meaning, yeah, it's just such a small stunt that no one really cares.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's going to get a lot of marketing.
This doesn't feel like, the Narnia thing is like officially a big deal because it's a 49-day window and it's a proper theatrical release. This, it feels more stunty. It's 2 weeks. It's, so...
But this was the original Greta Gerwig deal that we talked at length about.
Yeah.
And this is what seems to be a template for Netflix. If they can do this every Thanksgiving with one of their big movies, maybe this becomes an annual event.
If they can do it with an awardsy movie that they want to give some extra shine and run, yeah.
And more importantly, they want to lure the kinds of filmmakers they want to work with and won't work with Netflix because of the theatrical issue.
Right. So, and I guess Regal's argument would be, we don't want to help facilitate this. We'll show Narnia because it's a real window, but we don't want to.
No, it's not because of the Netflix relationship. It's because of their relationship with everybody else. Why would the other studios not ask for the same treatment on certain movies?
Well, because most of the other studios have committed now to this 45-day construct.
Yeah. I mean, that's the answer to that. But I don't know. They could use it as leverage. You're giving Netflix things that you're not giving us. So what else are you giving us?
Right. Possible.
I don't know. You don't seem too convinced.
No, it's fine to draw a line in the sand. And I'm probably underestimating the ways in which other studios will use it, because I know that other studios were pissed about the Narnia thing, because at IMAX, why are you giving Netflix, this treatment when they still don't have any interest in your business?
And if the Fincher movie is really good, maybe it becomes a bigger awards play because it got theaters. I still don't believe Netflix is going to win Best Picture without giving a meaningful theatrical release to the movie.
Right. So this one would have no shot.
Well, this one would have a better shot than most of their movies.
Well, they've been runner-up 2 or 3 times. I think you're mostly right, but
they runner-up. They should have won for Roma. If Roma was a real wide theatrical release, Netflix would have won Best Picture, in my opinion. No disrespect to the Green Book apologists that year, but I think Roma would have won if it had gotten a real theatrical release. You should have seen the look on people's faces at that Oscars when Green Book won. There was a screw Netflix feeling throughout that room.
Well, I don't think Spike Lee was very happy about it.
No, he wasn't alone. So, Lucas, in a year, is IMAX owned by someone else?
I would still bet no. But, reserve the right to be wrong, as always.
I think they will sell.
You think they will?
Yeah, I think they have waited for this moment, and there will be enough interest, and it will be a boring private equity or technology partner. It will not be a major studio, and it will change hands, maybe be taken private.
Well, it would have to be taken private, and I guess unless you're saying another public company buys it.
Yeah.
Either way, it would cease to exist as a standalone public company.
Yes.
Do you think it will change how many IMAX theaters exist? If it goes private equity, will we see a boom in IMAX theaters?
I mean, that's the other issue is they should be growing. They should be adding more theaters because clearly the demand is there. And most of these theater chains would love it if their percentage of IMAX and large format screens went up.
Yeah, I mean, people want. No, I don't have a. I don't. No, there. Of course, yes, the people want there to be more.
Yeah, but they just don't want to pay for it. They don't want to. They don't want to have to expend the money to build out the theaters.
Yeah, I mean, look, the people that should own this technology are the theater owners. Much as I said that movie studios should be on the front lines of sort of investing in filmmaking technology and sort of new talent, exhibition technology should be what AMC, Regal, and Cinemark are the best at. And instead, they have this other company that have sort of this large, kind of friendly but occasionally contentious relationship with.
Yeah, I agree. But obviously, one of them buying it would create other problems. All right, Lucas, thanks very much.
Thanks, Matt.
Today's call sheet is brought to you by Holiday Inn by IHG, the global icon you love, but with a whole new energy and comfort that hits different than before. Craig, before we start on the call sheet, some accountability corner from last week, a pretty brutal week for me. I took the under on 85 million for the 4-day on Mandalorian and Grogu. Final number, 98 million.
Sure. I'm surprised. You usually have your finger on the pulse for movies that kids will like.
I know.
And so I'm surprised, even having taken your son, that you didn't think this would overperform with families.
I don't know what I was thinking. I regretted that call the second I made it. And you were right. And 85 was just way too low. The NRG number, like, they just didn't get what kids were into. And the numbers on this show that it was kids that powered it. So bad on me. I also whiffed on Colbert, the finale. I predicted it would be between 4 million and 5 million live plus same day viewers. The Nielsen preliminary number was 6.74 million. We don't have the final number yet, but it's not going to go below 5. So I whiffed on that one too. A lot of people watch Colbert.
A lot of people watch Colbert late night. Maybe they shouldn't have canceled it.
I don't know. There was a whole thing where, people wondered if they would just watch the clips, and I thought that they would just watch the clips, and turns out his fans showed up. It was the number one weekday episode of the show ever. So I don't know how sustainable that would be.
Yeah. The boomers still tune in when they need to.
Yeah. Bad week for me. Let's move on. Craig, you and I have not seen Obsession yet.
Will you see it?
No, I'm not seeing it. But honestly, I expect you to see it. This is a young person thing.
I know I don't love horror, but I have been texting my friends who love horror and asked them how scary it is, and they said it's right on the fringe. So I might watch this movie.
Yeah, it's like Fatal Attraction, but with some gore, right?
Sure. I think a lot of gore, but yes.
And made for less than $1 million. Unbelievable, this filmmaker, Curry Barker, and bought at the Toronto Film Festival by Focus Features for $15 million. He, before that, got Jason Blum of Blumhouse to come on board as a producer, and unbelievable success here. Opened to 17 million. Second weekend, it goes up by 40% to 32 million for the weekend. That never happens. Horror movies in particular tend to drop off after the first weekend. We haven't had a movie that's gone up like this since 2023, and that was Sound of Freedom, which was the QAnon associated movie that opened on 4th of July and then went up. I mean, this thing is an absolute phenomenon at 60 plus million domestic. My prediction today is that this is going to blow past 100 million domestic.
The word of mouth is tremendous. Horror is in such a fantastic. These are the glory days of horror. We're going to look back on this era.
But we were talking about it as being oversaturated a year ago. And, Megan 2 missed the mark. And to Blum's credit, he completely recalibrated and is now going after these young filmmakers with more grassroots kind of digital first ethos. And he's succeeding. He's got Backrooms coming this weekend. That's going to be huge also. That's through A24.
Yes, I think that what is starting to work more, it's not the IP sequelization of horror films. It's like these young creators coming off YouTube. I mean, back in 2022, it kind of started with that movie Talk to Me, which was created by the two Australian YouTubers. That movie did like 100 million on a $4 million budget, and now we're seeing Backrooms with Kane Parsons. We have this movie with Curry Barker.
Long Legs was sort of a grassroots thing as well.
Yes, but people are starting to attach themselves to, Zach Kreger with Weapons, to these young horror filmmakers who are making original horror movies, and we are really in. I mean, I agree. I mean, it is like every couple of months now there is another huge horror movie that everybody needs to go see. It's
Yeah.
pretty remarkable.
What a windfall, too, for Focus. I mean, I thought I saw that $15 million price tag that they paid at Toronto. I was like, oh, that seems like a lot. But now it's like free money. I mean, it's unbelievable. And they're going to have sequels forever. They do have sequel rights. Focus has sequel rights to this movie. So, man, what a win for everyone. Good job. We're not always crapping on Hollywood. The haters
No.
say we crap on Hollywood. This is a absolute out of nowhere huge success.
Totally. Horror is really capable of pumping out original movies that people will take a risk to go in and see more than any other genre by a mile.
And that you and I will not see.
Probably not.
That's okay. It's probably better that way.
Well, it's such a difference. It's the horror movies, the quote unquote fatal attractions, the single white females, the movies that came out in the 90s. When you watch those and compare them to the movies that came out now, they are so much tamer. Like
Yeah.
you can actually sit down and watch that with your family, and there are creepy moments, but it is not horror, even though it was marketed as horror 30 years ago.
I know. Now it's like someone's getting decapitated or a
Yeah.
knife in the eye or something. Yeah, it's unbelievable. All right. Today's call sheet was brought to you by Holiday Inn. They kept the global icon status and upgraded pretty much everything else. From refreshed rooms to dining done right, it's a new day and a whole new stay at Holiday Inn. Book today at holidayinn.com. That's the show for today. I want to thank my guest, Lucas Shaw, producer Craig Horvath. This episode of The Town is presented by HBO Max. For your awards consideration, HBO Max presents DTF Talks. Watch Now, pun intended, is all about young moviegoers. What's bringing them back to theaters for movies like Backrooms, Obsession, Scary Movie, and more. How Hollywood can better appeal to this important demo. About a month ago, I did my annual focus group of high school kids on the west side of LA. You can find that on the Puck website in my newsletter. And it revealed some deep skepticism about movie stars and legacy franchises like Marvel and Star Wars, and excitement about emerging properties like Minecraft and big filmmakers like Chris Nolan and Greta Gerwig. In general, the kids were pretty savvy about movies and how they're being marketed to and their entire place in the media ecosystem. I think Kevin Getz, the test screening guru and film researcher, he saw that focus group and probably got a little annoyed at my lack of scientific rigor in picking 5 kids from the west side of LA to interview. So he did his own survey of 200 Gen Z moviegoers across the country. He came up with his own results. That's what we're discussing on the show today. Kevin Getz is here. He's got a new book called How to Score in Hollywood and a podcast, Don't Shoot the Messenger. And we're going to get into what's going on at the box office this summer, the specific factors that appeal to young moviegoers, and what Gen Z ultimately wants out of movie theaters. From The Ringer and Puck, I'm Matt Bellany, and this is The Town. Okay, we are here with Kevin Getz, who is founder and CEO of Screen Engine and a returning champion to The Town. Welcome back, Kevin.
It's great to be back, Matt. Thanks for having me.
How's the summer going so far from your perspective?
The summer is looking good. I mean, look, it's up 13 to 14% from last year. And it's very interesting, the things that are unfolding before us.
Now, are you going to sit here and tell me with a straight face that you predicted Obsession would do 250, 300 million worldwide?
Hell no.
What did that movie test?
Well, I can't talk about individual movies.
Sure. Okay. But well or not well or?
Well. We are now seeing something very interesting happening where there are a lot of new filmmakers coming into the scene who have great relevance for the audience that they're trying to reach. And that audience is responding mainly through authenticity, tremendous authenticity. Gen Zs are very smart, 14 to 29-year-olds.
Yeah, I would use the word savvy. They're very savvy.
I was just going to say that. Maybe I'll use the word savvy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they're smart too, but the savviness I found when I've done my focus groups, which I know you hate because they're not representative of the real world, but when I do my focus group of kids on the west side of LA, like they know shit. They know
They
filmmakers.
really do.
They know they can smell a bad trailer. Like they're very savvy.
You know this, Matt. I think in your study you asked for the 5 people, and I confirmed it with the 200 people, that in fact that generation hasn't seen a TV commercial like all year, except maybe for a sporting event.
Yeah.
But that tells you a lot about where they're getting their information and how they're being informed. So it's really about relevance and alignment. When studios think that they know what the audience wants, but don't really understand what the audience wants, the Gen Zs, to your point about savvy, smell it. They know it. And so I'm not certainly not shitting on any kind of and every movie has a reason to exist. My whole book is written with that in mind, which is, every movie, if made and marketed for the right price, should make money. And my theory is that you can only do that if you truly understand the audience at the get-go, in the beginning, and how large or not large that audience is. And then you budget accordingly, not the other way around. And when you have to chase something because you assume it's a big property, you have to understand many of these movies are driven by their fanship and the level of that fanship. And if you look even at test screenings, you see a vast difference between how fans rate something and how fence sitters or non-fans, or, not rejectors, but non-fans rate something. And the question is, that fan base tells you very much how you might open in terms of the intensity of that interest. And then you have to do outside studies to understand how large that fan base actually is. But when you see a fan base not rally behind something in a really significant way and become like passionate advocates or like evangelists for that property, you then become, oh boy, that is a warning sign that you may not cut through. And that's an important, really important distinction.
Well, we have examples right now of 2 different kinds of success stories where Backrooms, clearly that IP meant something to the core audience, and they showed up on opening weekend, $81 million domestic. Then second weekend drops off 70%. So that's one kind of fandom. And then we have
That's Matt. It's a great example. I'm sorry. I just want to add to your stats there, if I may, on Backrooms before you go on to the other one, which is 56% of your audience is under 25, and 86% of your audience is under 35 for Backrooms. 86%. So that tells you so much. Keep going, man. The other,
that's why I felt super old and awkward at the theater. By myself on a Sunday night.
Walk in with a trench coat.
Yeah. But then there's the second kind of success, which is the obsession success, which was so low on tracking, it was single digits. I didn't even bother to give a prediction because I was like, oh, this is going to be a single digit horror movie.
Oh, come on. Really?
I know. Craig has the audio. We're going to save it for the end of the year. We'll just throw it back in my face. But then opens to double that, then keeps going up. And this is the kind of movie where the young audience adopted it as their own and became advocates and started sharing.
And Backrooms started it from the get-go.
Yeah.
They started from the get-go. And then once the fan base petered out, the drop tells you what you need to know about the fans. You're exactly right. It's a wonderful example. And they are not the same movie. I mean, even though 77% of the audience for Obsession was under the age of 35, 40% was under 25 versus the 56 for Backrooms. You can see, though, the trend that Obsession played older, not tremendously older, and also, without talking out of school about testing, obviously that movie must have had a very strong definite recommend, because the definite recommend score at screenings is